Yeah, I think I fixed it. I think it was doing it because I had two videos downloading in the background, so I stopped those two videos until after the live. I think that's what was causing it. Can you see me better? I may have fixed it. I'll let Mom sit in there for about. Let Mom sit in there for about a minute. Let people come in, and then we'll get started. Yes, you are. Hi, Mom. She's coming. Yep. I had to go live 3 times.
Why?
Because it wouldn't work the first 2 times. That's why it took me a little bit to have you come in here, because it's pointless to have you come in here if it wasn't going to work at
I
all.
brought my jacket because
I turned the air off.
It's always cold in here though.
I turned the air off, so you should be good. You can't be under there. Right over here. There you go. There you go. There ain't very many people in here because people probably ain't going to come in now because I went live. This will be the 3rd time, so.
Oh wow.
It wouldn't work the first 2 times. You're not in the video. You gotta scoot over a little closer to the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about it anyway. They can watch it later.
Okay.
I'm sure people will walk in. People will come in eventually.
Okay.
Like there's 3 people on. Donna said hi.
Hi, Donna.
And she said hi to Cola. What's up, Jeep?
Cola is in the floor and he shouldn't even be in here, but he follows his mommy.
I don't know where he went. He was in the floor. Oh, he's
right
over
there.
by you.
Yeah.
How's your day going, Jeep?
What he wants now. He doesn't like
it's
being
hot in here.
confined.
He'd be alright if I had the air on, but I turned it off.
Come on, Mommy, let
Since you have your jacket, I'm gonna turn it back on.
Yeah, go ahead. Here, Cola. Yeah, he's not one to be confined. So I put my jacket on here.
Too late. He's already out of the room.
Everybody knows.
I'm doing pretty good. We're getting ready to talk about. We're gonna let Mom start on Bob Saget because I'm sure that's what she wants to talk about. When she sits down, she'll start you guys on the story, and we'll go from there. And then we'll get into Brian and Gabby a little bit later. And if we don't get to Brian and Gabby, we'll just make another video another time.
Okay, guys.
She doesn't like to be in the video.
Hope everybody's doing good today.
Let's scoot you a little over here. You somehow keep moving the seat.
I didn't touch it.
Keep moving the seat.
Okay. So, we all know Bob Saget.
From Full House.
Come on. We were all Full House idiots. Come on, we watched it.
Full House, I didn't really like the new one.
I like the new one too, but there was so many things out on Bob Saget that actually amazed me because when you look at him on Full House, the things that are out there on him are just crazy, disgusting, sick. I know I can't say the one word, can I?
What word?
Perverted.
Oh, you can say
Oh,
that.
perverted. His comedy was. Come on now.
Yeah, his comedy was
Raunchy.
something else.
Raunchy.
But people loved it.
Raunchy and disgusting.
But
now, when he was staying in the motel in Florida, his gig was like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours away from his motel. And nobody could figure out why he would stay so far away from his gig. Now, this is what I heard, so just remember, this is for entertainment only.
It's an opinion.
I had read up on quite a few different people's ideas and thoughts and versions and just things they thought. Well, I came across a couple of people who were saying, and I won't mention the people, but who were saying that he stayed 2 hours away from his gig because he wanted to be where gays were. That's just putting it out there. He wanted to be around gays.
And
now, I don't know if it's true.
The main reason, and what most people were saying...
But this motel was around the gay community.
Yeah, but most people were saying the reason he was so far away is because it was faster to get out of town for his next gig.
That's what a lot of them are saying, too. We ain't never going to know because Bob's not here anymore. Condolences to the family.
I don't know about that. I think the family caused the death. But anyways, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, we're all entitled to our own opinions.
Chief put, I've never heard that side of him. Definitely look into Bob Saget before his death. Like, not into his life as we all know it. Look into his life how you don't know it. He did some
things that will make your hair stand on.
Yeah, stuff you can't really talk about.
Yeah.
But he did.
Yes.
And it's a part of the reason the Olsen twins didn't play in the second version of Full House.
And they didn't come back for reunions.
They did go to his funeral, though.
Yes.
But there's reasons why they weren't a part of that.
Yes. And I'm not going to dig into that because that one's not my place. But yeah, it's not a good scenario. I'll put it that way. Look that up and you'll be shocked. You know.
Okay, so we're in the hotel.
Yes. So, anyways, Bob does his gig, his comedy act, and he drives back to his motel. Now, as he gets out of his car and leaves it to the valet, he takes a picture with the valet.
And they talk for a minute.
Or two. He's smiling, laughing. Happy-go-lucky Bob.
Everything seemed normal to the ballet guy.
He didn't look sick. The picture, he doesn't look sick. He doesn't look like he's disoriented. He doesn't look drunk. You can just tell on people, you know, if they're doing drugs or they're drunk or they don't feel good, you know. People's face just gives them away. And there's none of that there in Bob. He doesn't have the squinty eyes. He doesn't have a paleness to him. He's smiling. So he goes up to his room. Now, He gets into his room and supposedly took a shower. Supposedly.
Yeah.
They do find a towel after they find him. They do find a towel in the bathroom. But there's not one hair, you guys.
Not one single hair was found in the hotel bathroom.
Nothing.
We're not just talking bobs. Not one single hair was found in the bathroom.
Now, you guys all know as well as I do. Anybody that stays in a motel loses hairs, they lose skin cells, they get caught up in corners, they get caught in corners in the bathroom, they're in the drains. There's DNA and hair somewhere. There was nothing.
Yeah, they didn't find one single hair.
Nothing.
From anybody.
But they said he took a shower. And I'm like, something odd here, you know. I had talked to Danny about this quite a bit. There's something really odd here, son, because when you stay in a motel, I worked motels. I cleaned them. Pardon me.
Donna put, I watched about that.
Yeah, you don't.
And G put a face with an open face, like, holy crap.
We all know that housekeepers are not perfect.
There's no way.
Somebody's hair was somewhere in that room.
And they didn't find one.
Nothing. Now, if he fell and hit his head.
But that's not where they're saying he fell and hit his head.
They said at first he hit his head in the bathroom and made it back to bed. Then they said, changed it all around and said that he fell on the carpeted floor and hit his head. Now,
that is not where they first start. She's missing a whole piece here. The first time they said that he hit his head on the bed freaking thing.
On the bed, on the headboard.
On the headboard.
Yeah.
And freaking the bed didn't even have a headboard. It was a cushion that runs along the whole wall. Mm-hmm. And there was nothing that he could have hit his head on that would have caused an injury. Like, it'd be like hitting a pillow on your wall.
Yes.
Then they said the shower and the floor.
Then they said he took a shower and he fell in the bathroom.
But no DNA was found.
Nothing was found in there. Now, you guys all know as well as I do, if you're in a bathroom and you hit your head on the tub, on the counter, on the floor, on something, you're going to knock loose skin cells.
Oh, it gets worse, Donna.
And hair. But there was none of that in the bathroom.
If as bad as his head was supposedly like this
cracked
open from the back of his ear to the front part of his eye. Yeah. So if you fell in the bathroom and split the back of your head all the way to the front part of your eye, there'd be blood everywhere.
There was no blood.
No blood, no DNA, no hair, no skin cells, nothing in that bathroom.
Nothing.
Then they said he fell on the floor.
Yeah, and before he got to his bed, they said he fell and he fell backwards. Now, this is a
100% DJ, or Joe, sorry.
6 foot tall man, six foot plus. Tall man falls backwards and hits his head on the carpeted floor, which is concrete underneath it.
No, it's wood.
Okay.
They proved it's wood.
Okay, wood. At first they said concrete.
That's wood.
So wood. There'd be blood, you guys.
No blood on the carpet.
No blood. No skin cells. No hair. Nothing.
Oh, we're going to get more into it.
Then...
hold on. DJ put, I have a lot of friends who work in the hotel industry, and they all believe it's a murder. Joe also put, it's a murder. Donna put, I have watched those videos and told I know I have watched those videos you told me to watch, and then she put, I think murder too. Maybe his wife. We'll get into his wife for in a minute. They believe he was murdered and brought into the hotel through the side doors. No, you're gonna hear something here in a minute. We're gonna get into where we think the murder actually happened here in a minute.
It's coming.
So another thing that at first they said, but it changed. They said all his stuff was packed
And
by
by the door.
by the door so that he could leave in the morning to go to his next. He had a show the next
Another
day,
gig.
so he had to take a flight out and leave in the morning. Well, when they showed the pictures that they took of the hotel, all his clothes are still in his closet. Nothing's packed. Nothing's by the door.
His brush, his deodorant,
His brush.
aftershave,
Since she brought up the brush, his brush didn't even have his hair in it. His own brush didn't have no hair in it.
in the bathroom.
In the bathroom, yes.
That's
No hair.
on the counter that they have pictures of.
On his own brush.
Now, we all know every once in a while also, and think about this, guys. When you put your deodorant on, even us ladies, because sometimes the hair gets a little long before we shave, hairs fall off your arm. Nothing.
Yeah, no hairs in
Nothing.
in this whole hotel room.
No skin cells. No furniture or even the floor. No hair. No skin cells. Nothing.
He wasn't killed. He had to have been killed in that hotel, in the hotel somewhere. Because the ballet has a picture of him coming into the building, so he couldn't have been killed before he got there.
No.
Because DJ put, I believe he was murdered and brought into the hotel. That's not possible.
No, it's not.
And Joe put, I think he was killed on the way back to the apartment by someone. No, but we're going to get to what me and Mom think happened. And the cops covered up.
Yes.
Here in a second.
Yes.
So, go ahead.
So, anyways, when they do come in to his room to investigate, now you tell me how a man falls on the floor. Tell me this, guys. How a man falls on the floor, cracks his head so hard that it's like somebody beat him with a baseball bat. He has two completely black eyes. How in the world did he get up, get into bed, and cover up?
And not get any blood on the white sheets.
No blood, no hairs, no skin cells, nothing on the bed.
No stain, because when you die, you poop yourself.
Yes.
It happens. And
all your organs let loose. You pee, you poop.
Nothing. No stains.
Nothing.
On any of the covers, any of the sheets.
Nothing. Just absolutely nothing. Okay, so they figure out that
What's up, Alex?
The room next door is open.
Here's where the story takes a crazy twist.
The room next door to Bob's is open. You know where you have the doors where it...
Hold on, Mom. Murder, we're not talking about Johnny Gobble in this video. Maybe tomorrow. All right, go ahead.
What I was saying was, you know how you have adjoining rooms and the doors are locked if you're not in company
What's up, Alex?
with the people in the room next door? It's locked. It's locked on both sides. His wasn't.
So what me and Mom, well, you got to tell them the cop first. When the cops came in, accidentally went to the wrong room first.
So the cops get a call from their partners to come on down there checking this out, and because they realize that it's Bob Saget and he's a comedian and a movie star. They go to the wrong room, you guys.
Hold on. Can you guys hear us? Can you hear what we're saying? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear us. It might not be live. Hold on. Okay, so you can all hear us? Just somebody's making some shit up? Okay. Let me time them out. Alright. Alright. Bye-bye. Alright, go ahead, guys. Go ahead, Mom.
So, like I said, these officers go to the wrong room and they're knocking on the door. And they're standing there in the hallway with coffee and donuts, and they're laughing and having a good old time and knocking on the wrong door.
They went to the wrong door. How
Who does that?
How can a cop who's told where to go end up going to the wrong door? And the reason me and Mom think this happened was they also knew they went to the wrong door on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that Bob Saget probably, just taking a wild guess here, was killed in that room. And they didn't show us any evidence from that room, no pictures from that room. Nothing from that room at all.
The only thing their report said was the door was open.
Yeah.
So that gave somebody the opportunity to get to Bob, to take him into the next room, do whatever they were going to do to him, and then put him back in bed. The only way the man could be clean, you guys, that clean, is if somebody did it. Because you urinate yourself, you poop yourself. Nothing was there.
He didn't pay for both rooms. No. He only paid for one room, and the room's like a small apartment. So
beautiful.
It's got a front room, a little side kitchen, like a dining area, and then its own bedroom.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful motel. The Marriott.
I don't remember. It was a 5-star hotel.
But yeah, he was paying some big money for that motel. But yeah, the next room was open.
And it shouldn't have been. It should have been locked.
So
Ritz-Carlton, Orlando Resort.
Yeah, that's right. So anyways, I'm thinking, in my own mind, I'm like, this is...
DJ Putty lives about 30 miles away from it.
Oh. Have you been over to see it?
Go ahead. What were you thinking?
I'm thinking because when I look at all the pictures that the officers supposedly took of Bob's room, everything's immaculate and in place. So you can tell nothing happened in there. And they said they swabbed all the tables and all the counters and everything, and they didn't find nothing. How's that possible?
DJ put, yes, I've stayed there and have friends who work there. It's an amazing hotel.
Yeah. Yeah, but...
It's a beautiful... Like, I've seen pictures of it. It's a beautiful hotel.
Beautiful.
But
something happened there.
There's just no way... I mean, even the best cleaning service could not clean a bathroom without there at least being one hair somewhere.
One dead skin cell.
But apparently in this bathroom there was no hairs.
In the whole place.
Yeah, in the whole living area.
Nothing.
Okay, so a doctor, I don't remember his name, but he did he went by what the police report was of how bad Bob's skull was crushed. And he said in order for somebody to get that much damage on their face, you'd literally have to fall off a freaking 6-story building with your head first.
Yes.
So the only way that could happen is if somebody cracked you over the head with something. There'd be blood everywhere.
He said it either had to be a baseball bat,
or a club,
or
a stick,
or falling was it 30 foot?
I think he said 6 stories.
I was thinking
maybe it was 30 foot, but either way, a big drop.
And falling straight on your head. Now, that couldn't have happened, you guys, for the very fact, how did they get him past the cameras if he fell outside and back into his room without anybody seeing it?
It didn't it couldn't anyway, because I don't think his room was connected to an outside window, was it? I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, it had outside windows.
Oh, man, I thought his room was kind of in the middle.
But it still had outside windows.
Well, sometimes hotels got multiple rooms. Sometimes your room's in the middle.
Right. But yeah, he had windows, but there's just no way they could have got him back in without the cameras seeing it. There's no way. I believe there was somebody waiting in 661,
which is the other room,
for him to get there. That's my opinion. I've heard people say, well, it was whores, well, it was lesbians, well, it was gays, it was this, it was that, it was another. I can't say who it was, but I can tell you this. That man was murdered.
And he knew it was going to...
Straight up, and knew he was going to die.
And knew it was going to happen, because prior to that...
A couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks prior to that, he did a video, you can find it online, where he said...
To his wife.
I'm going to die soon.
I'm going to die in my bed.
Yeah. To his wife, who then, 6 days before his death, wore a shirt that said, I'm going to kill you, or something. I can't remember. It's something about killing somebody on a shirt. And then 6 days later, he died.
And everything was covered up. Everything. They took everything and covered it up. So I don't think we're ever going to know the truth, but I'm telling you, my personal heartfelt feelings is that man was murdered.
By his family. How's it going, Desiree? We have not got into Brian and Gabby. I know you want to be a part of that. We're kind of in the Bob Saget one. What's up, Black Boy? What's up, Joe?
Anybody got any opinions on Mr. Saget?
Hold on. DJ put, my friend has a theory that immediately upon arrival he had his bags brought to his room, and then he immediately went to a sketchy bar within walking distance, which is possible, but
it's possible.
How did he get back in without the security cameras seeing it? Mm-hmm. That's the big question. And they would have to go through his door or the other door. So whoever rented that other room would have, and they're not, I don't think anybody rented it, did they? I think they said that room was vacant that night. Yeah.
But why would it be unlocked?
Yeah.
That don't make sense. Because Bob could lock it from his side, and the other side locks it from their side. So when you have your maids go in or service people, you make sure that that's locked. You know, you lock it on each side.
You know more about the hotel than I do, DJ. So it's everybody's gonna have their own theories. But he said brought through pool entry side door.
But, you know, I did hear somebody say that in a video.
But this is a pretty expensive...
That he could have been brought through, but you'd still think he'd be on camera.
I don't know how the cameras work on there. Like, I'd actually have to be in there to see it. But it's a pretty expensive hotel. So you would think there'd be cameras in every hallway. Now, I could be wrong, because I've never been there and I don't know. But you've been there, DJ. Is there cameras in the hallways? Because if there's cameras in the hallways... that theory wouldn't work, because somebody would see him being carried, or a big bag of something being brought to his room or something.
Yes.
I don't know if there's cameras though, so I'm just taking a wild guess. Joe put he was carried in and tape was stopped. That's a possibility that they stopped. The tape to the video was stopped when they brought him back in. That's a possibility. They could have all been...
Oh, so you think it was somebody at the motel?
Inside person in the hotel.
Like a security person?
Or somebody that had access to the cameras. Huh?
Because they said nothing of Bob's was missing.
Crystal, we're talking about Bob Saget, and then we're going to get into Brian and Gabby here in a minute. We haven't gotten to their story yet.
But I do find it really odd that his motel room was immaculate. But they would not show pictures of 661 at all. No pictures whatsoever. And I think they should have. Because there could have been blood stains.
Have a good one, Black Pox.
Blood splatter. I would think since he was hit so hard and they're saying he did it himself, I just can't see them.
There's no way.
Injuries.
There's just no way he could have done it himself and there not be any blood in the whole hotel.
Not on his pillow, not in the floor, nowhere. And like I said, when you pass away, all your vital organs let loose. There was nothing. Nothing on the bed. I mean...
There's lots of theories, DJ, but I'll tell this one because I think he was brought back to the hotel after he was murdered, then brought to his room for the first time. Story is he owed people some money. Definitely someone who worked there would have been hired and involved. He didn't do that in his room, is what Joe put. Well, yeah, it didn't happen in his room at all.
It did not happen in that room.
Multiple things Bob did in his past.
That was not good.
There's a picture of him with Epstein. Like, literally, there's a picture of Bob Saget with Epstein, which means, well, you know what that means. I'm not going to go into what it is. If you don't know who that is, go look him up. But he did some weird stuff on the set of Full House, the original Full House.
Yes, and there's videos.
And the girls caught him doing these weird things. And we're talking about the Olsen twins caught him. Which Mom says there's a video. I haven't ever seen the video, but there's a video of it.
There's a video of Bob Saget and what he is doing.
There's also a story.
And he's doing it with a doll.
Okay, we're not going to go into it. They can go find it themselves. There's also a story that he was about to split up with his wife.
Yes.
And she wouldn't have got as much money if she would have not had him killed, because she gets all the money now. But if they would have got divorced, she wouldn't have got it all. She would have got like a little sum, because I think he had what is that? When
53.
Yeah, but he had they signed a prenup, I'm pretty sure, and she wasn't going to get as much money because of that.
I can't believe that even the daughters and all of them stopped
the daughters
information from coming out.
Yeah, they all, the wife.
Because they know the information, if it comes out, you guys, they know we're all going to be shocked, because it's not going to be the Bob you know.
Yeah.
That's what the problem is.
I'm sorry, if somebody killed my dad, I would want to know every damn thing I could find out.
Me too. Me too. And I wouldn't stop anybody from hearing the information. Yeah, right away, I could understand keeping it covered up for maybe a month or two. So the family has time to grieve and really get over the hard parts. But to leave it covered up like this long and it's never going to come out now, something's wrong. Something shady in Florida. Just not right. That man was killed.
DJ put, maybe he was on Epstein's list, which is a possibility. I don't know what this... Wilbur put, I saw a video where soldiers tallied up how much them guns ran, at least 9K. I'm not... What are you talking about? Am I lost somewhere? He had no job and was just 18 with no job. I don't get what you're asking, Wilbur.
I don't either.
Uh,
We weren't talking about AK-47s or anything.
I don't know. There's a lot of shade down here in the Sunshine State. Yeah, Florida's kind of like...
We're finding that
Florida's
out.
kind of like Vegas. What happens there stays there.
Yep. And they cover it up good.
And Joe put Bob was killed so he couldn't testify. Yes, that's a possibility.
You know, that's something I never thought of.
I never thought about that either. Because he could have testified for the list.
Yeah.
Because he might have knew people.
That's
I still think it's the wife. My theory is the wife had him killed. That's what I think. But there's multiple theories, and we'll probably never know.
Here's my theory. I'm not saying this is true or not, but I think he had numerous affairs when he was out doing his thing.
You gotta speak up.
And just what if he got somebody pregnant and said he ain't going to deal with it, have an abortion, and they decided to do him in? That's possible.
It does seem that way. Desiree put, to me, you can kill people in Florida and get away with it.
It does seem like that.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Which is crazy. Side question, do you think Clintons are on the Yes, they're on the list. Both. There's a picture of Bill Clinton hung up at Epstein's Island. So yes, they're on the list.
There's quite a few people on there that you guys would be shocked.
His wife didn't have the manpower to pull it off. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She had his money. She was his wife. She had the money to have it pulled off if she wanted to. He was worth like, what, $53 million? She had the money to pull it off.
Plus all of his royalties and everything he got.
He owned like 8 houses.
He did, and
I think he owned like 6 houses. Sorry, 6 houses. Yeah, she had the money to pull it off.
And it was like 3 months after he had passed that she put his house up for sale.
Yeah, it was very short. She just stopped talking about him.
And
like right away.
Gave everything away that he owned at right after he died. She just started giving his stuff away. Just giving it away.
Not to the kids. To just random people.
Yeah. Friends, people, whoever. She was just giving it away.
I think she did it. That's just my opinion.
She never came off as, and I'm not saying she did it, but to me, I watched my mother grieve over my dad passing away, and my mother grieved for a long time. Let me tell you, we all grieve differently, but my mom grieved. This woman
didn't grieve at all?
She didn't grieve. I didn't see it. I don't know if you guys did, but I sure didn't see it.
Donna put she thinks it's the wife also. They're just... I mean, we're never going to know.
Because they covered it up.
Because the wife covered it up.
Because...
Even if she didn't do it, the wife covered it up.
Because the court papers, and they're out there, but they have certain things blacked out where you can't see it. But the court papers do say that it would hurt the family tremendously if the truth came out. What does that tell you guys?
Yeah, it's a pretty messed up story, actually.
It is. That man was murdered. And I don't care who did it. They should have to pay for it.
Well, they're going to pay for it. They're just not going to pay for it now.
Well, yeah, they're going to pay for it with God, but... I mean, I don't understand this hiding the truth all the time. I don't get why people do that. Why would... I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not happy with a lot of the things I found out that Bob did, and he did do them, you guys. I mean, he did it.
Yeah, he wasn't the.
It comes straight out of his own mouth.
He wasn't the guy that everybody thought he was.
It was like a double.
He also wasn't a bad guy either. He just did some stupid shit.
Yes, like all of us, we all do stupid stuff. I mean, you know, but his was just a little bit more.
I don't think she personally did it, Joe. I think she paid somebody to do it.
Well, she wasn't in Florida.
Yeah, she didn't. I'm not saying she personally did it. I'm saying she paid somebody to do it. I don't think she did it, but I think she did it by meaning she caused his death. She paid for it all. Who would know when he's going to be home, what time to be there, who to be in the room next to him, where's he at, is he almost there? Like, you'd have to know all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she would know all that stuff.
But she said she didn't talk to him.
Bullshit.
So
I call bullshit. But
I find that odd.
What else is on the case that you want to talk about?
About Bob?
Anything?
I'm trying to think if I missed anything.
Well, if we need to jump back, we'll jump back to him. If you guys think of something that we missed, comment and let us know. We'll kind of jump back. Let's get into Gabby and Brian now.
Oh my goodness.
So the recent update to this story is that Gabby's mother and father, her real mom and father, are suing the Petitos, or the Laundries.
Yeah.
For knowing information and not telling them where their daughter was because they knew that she was already dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then I believe the mother also sued them for something else just recently. So there's actually two cases that are going through the court system right now with the Petitos versus the Laundries.
Right.
And in the original case, they told us that Brian strangled Gabby. In the final case, they said Brian beat the crap out of Gabby and then strangled her.
And hit her head on the van door.
Yeah, and hit her head on the door. So he had a chance. Like I always thought that he strangled her because that's what they said in the original final thing. So
autopsy.
He wouldn't have had a chance to stop if he strangled her.
Right.
But when they're
beating her, he had
when
a
the
chance
final
to
one
stop.
come out and it showed that he beat her and then strangled her, he had a chance to stop.
Yes, he did.
And didn't.
Yes, he did.
And this story, yeah, it was. I don't know where you guys want to go with it. Put some messages down there. We'll go into the story because so much happened in this story. Like the night that they got it pulled over by the cops say that Gabby was the aggressor.
Yes.
Not Brian. And that's hard to believe because Gabby has bruises, but yet Brian didn't have any bruises.
Right. Gabby was crying. She was very upset. When they got pulled over, she didn't want...
Talk up water.
She didn't want the information to be out there where people could see what was going on because she had her life on YouTube, you know, what she was doing, the traveling around the world and showing everybody what she was doing in her life. That was Gabby's life. That's what she loved to do.
And she put money up to do that.
And she put a lot of money up to do that. And then she didn't want people to know that her and Brian had problems. She didn't want that out there.
Well, at least we think she didn't. Nobody really knows.
But Brian had decided before Gabby was even killed, Brian had decided that he didn't want to be with her and he was seeing another woman. I can't remember her name.
I've never heard this story ever.
Oh, yes. Brian was seeing another woman and he was going to leave Gabby.
That would have been a huge. I think somebody told you that would have been like huge in the story.
Yeah.
That's the first time I ever heard it. Right now.
Well, you better go back and research again because yes, Brian was going to leave Gabby. Gabby wanted to get married.
I know Brian had an ex-girlfriend that was kind of got involved in the story, but I don't think there was ever.
Brian was seeing another girl.
See, I don't.
Yes, he was.
Well, I don't believe that, but everybody's got their own story. I never
Exactly.
heard that. I never heard that one single time.
Exactly, but I'm telling you, Brian was seeing another girl. Now,
well, there's a possibility he was, because I never heard that.
Okay, a possibility. I'll put it that way. I know what I read and seen, but you didn't see it, so
I never heard
let's agree to disagree.
I think that would be huge in the story if that happened, and nobody ever talked about it.
Well, look it up. It's there. It's absolutely there.
It's also there that he was underneath the flower pot.
That's true too.
There was a lot of made up stories in this story.
That's you're absolutely right. I'm not saying that the story that I read is true.
Yeah, I don't think it is at all.
I'm just saying the story is out there that Gabby wanted to get married and Brian didn't because they fought and argued so much. And Brian was secretly seeing another girl.
I'm just telling you, I don't believe that even it happened at all, but that's just, everybody's got their own opinion.
Absolutely.
And Donna put, Desiree put, I think his parents didn't know about Brian killing her, and they was trying to protect him. Yes.
No, they knew.
He did. I meant did. She put did. Know about Brian killing her, and they were trying to. There's a person, I don't remember the person's name, but her dad's friend that lives in another country. They're saying that Brian possibly went there. That was why all this was going on.
Why they were looking for Gabby.
He was possibly going to. I can't remember what country, but it was a different country that his dad had a friend with. I don't remember. Do you?
I don't either. I just know it was overseas.
Yeah, somebody overseas that they had a friend with. He was a lawyer or something. But I can't remember exactly what country it was.
But yeah, the parents knew all along because baby
boy
boy had to tell them.
No, I mean, it'd be almost obvious that something happened. He came back
with her
in her vehicle, and he used her debit card to pay his bills while he was there.
And to get the stuff out of the so-called storage unit.
Yeah, I wish we all knew what was in that storage unit.
So...
That part never made any sense. It's like his story was that he came back to empty the storage unit because they forgot to pay it.
Yes.
There's no way you would drive all the way back from where you're at, all the way back to your town, just for that reason. I would call my mom and say, Go pay the storage bill and I'll pay you when I get back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or my dad, go pay the storage bill and I'll pay you when I get back.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
Most kids would.
But he drove all the way back. And he killed her, the 2 days prior to that? I think it was 2 days they figured.
Coming back.
Yeah, 2 days prior to him coming back, he had already killed her.
Yeah. And people, when they kill somebody, a lot of times, if it's somebody they know and somebody they love, they do things differently, when they lay a person down on the ground or whatever. and they cover them up, and they hide their eyes and everything from them, and he did all these things with her.
Oh shit! I didn't think about that, DJ, but okay. I'll get that in a second.
He covered her up. He regretted what he did after he did it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think he did.
Because the way he treated her body, he could have took her body and just threw it off.
That's kind of what he did.
No, he didn't. He laid her body down. He covered her up. He put her shoes right beside her, real nice and neat. Everything was real nice. I think that was his way of saying he regretted it.
He literally dragged her across the creek and left her on the other side of the creek in some mud and shit. I'm sorry, that he didn't give a shit.
But he covered her up and he set her shoes real neat by her, and I don't know. I kind of think he regretted it.
Yeah.
Myself.
Regretted it person.
That's my opinion.
A regretted person would have left them where they died. A person that didn't regret it would move them to try to hide it. He moved her and tried to hide it. DJ put, and Desiree.
Well, they didn't find her for a couple of weeks, almost a month.
Desiree and Mom agree with you, DJ, because we've already talked about this a little bit before in the past. DJ put, I believe Brian is still alive. I believe he pulled out several teeth and left them with other human remains from another person and fled the country. And then he put, again, another Florida story.
Yep, I agree with you 100%. And that man is still walking the earth.
I don't believe that, but
I do.
But
I do.
Because he would. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't put it past it happening. I don't believe he's alive, but if he showed up, I would be like, okay. Because the story's crazy.
Now listen. They could not find this dude's body for how long?
Almost 2 months.
Because it was supposed to have been underwater. Come on now. We're talking everybody at the time was going through, the water was this high, and you had to have a boat, and blah, 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 blah. Well, let me tell you something. If his body was there this whole time for 2 months, I'm talking to you too, son.
Well, I'm going.
Now, if his body was there,
I'm going to go into this story a little bit once you get there, because there's a lot of things people probably don't know. Go ahead.
How the hell did his body not all be there? Just certain pieces.
Well,
now wait, hell's bell, the backpack was there and so was the bag.
Here's the thing, though.
Now, why didn't they wash away?
Here's the thing, and I could go with the story that he could be alive. I'm not going to say 100% he ain't. I just don't think he is. But the water thing in this area is bullshit. Anybody that tells you that area where he was found had 3 or 5, they showed a picture of it.
It's supposed to be 4 foot.
Me and Mom seen a picture. They showed a picture of it during that time. That water was this deep, guys. This deep.
I'm thinking maybe this deep.
Like maybe half a foot deep.
Maybe.
6-7 inches.
With that. Maybe.
6-7 inches deep. This
Not much.
whole area where they found his body. 6 or 7 inches deep, the whole area. And it was just right off the path. Like we're talking.
The dog.
You literally could have threw a rock off the path and hit this area.
Now, the dogs would have hit on the smell. Buzzards would have been in the air. They can all smell that crap. There was nothing, you guys. Nothing.
Like, there's the...
Now, how did that bag stay there? If the water receded.
The bag would still be in the same spot. The water was only 8 inches. The bag... There's high grass.
Okay, son. Now let's not argue over this, but I'm getting heated here. Where the hell's the rest of his body?
Yeah, that's the part that's...
Now, if the bags were still there, both of them, the backpack and the waterproof bag, where the hell's the rest of his body?
Yeah, but how much do we know? Like, there's so much in this story that's covered up. How much of his body did they find? Did they tell us? No.
They said skull. Come on, guys. And a jawline.
Do you really want to go by what the FBI said? Fuck the FBI. They don't tell you the truth.
They would have found his whole body.
Maybe they did find his whole body.
Why didn't they put it out there?
Why do they hide shit all the time?
Well, because he's walking there.
It's a possibility. But here's another thing that's really messed up. Let me get everybody's things first, because me and Mom both are...
Oh, I get heated on this one.
Let's see. Damn it, I went too far.
I feel so bad for Gabby's parents.
Desiree put, DJ, I agree. I think he is still alive. His parents knows where he's at. Crystal put, I wonder why the parents were never charged. They're getting charged right now.
Yes.
The Petitos are going after the laundries.
Yeah, and they're going after him hard and heavy.
They identified the body through dental records. It could have easily been his real teeth that he had pulled and set alongside human remains pulled from the cemetery. His mom and dad found him in we'll get to that in a minute, Desiree.
Oh my gosh,
Let me catch up with everybody real quick.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about that. You have to understand this is Florida we're talking about. The shady sunshine state where alligators nearby. That's a possibility. We'll get to that in just a second. Let me catch up with everybody's comments, and then we'll talk about it.
But alligators a lot of times will take bags and stuff too if they can food or something's in it.
There wasn't no food in it.
But how do you know?
Because they showed us everything.
Was you there?
They showed us that day everything that was in that bag. They just didn't show us what was on the notebook. They showed everything in that bag.
I'm telling you what, that bag wouldn't have been there.
I don't agree it was there either. I think it got planted, but we'll get into that in a second. DJ put, you're correct, Danny. I've been to the actual park. The water only gets to about 10 inches.
Yeah. We've had a lot of people tell us that.
Joe put true. I'm not really for sure what he put true about, but something we said was true. DJ put, they only found partial remains and only identified him through some teeth in his dental records.
You're absolutely right. Partial remains. They state that, but in a couple of autopsies, they state partial remains. Where's the rest of them?
Either way, if you guys believe the FBI, that's your first problem. Them fuckers lie all the time.
Because you guys, Brian ain't dead.
Here's the thing. Here's a couple of messed up things with this story, though. The bag didn't have, if it's sitting in the water, it would have a line where the water was.
Danny and I, we really went over this bag. We blew up pictures.
If you dropped a bag with a rock, let's say you put a rock.
White bag at that.
You put a white bag with a rock in water, and this was there for 2 months apparently. A couple of days, that bag would have a line where the water was, even if it wasn't moving a lot, just barely moving at all. Mm-hmm. The bag would have a line.
It would have a water line.
Where the water was, how high the water was.
Now you guys know that. You can put something out in your own yard and test it, and it's still going to have a line of the different. How do you think they tell water and stuff? Because of the lines on things.
Yeah,
There was nothing.
If you go look at where, hurricanes happen, I mean, it's horrible. But if you go look where a hurricane happens, on a house, there's a line where how high the water got.
Yeah, and as it recedes down, you get different lineage down people's homes.
That bag should have had a line somewhere.
Yeah.
And it was just placed there the day before.
Yeah, there was no water lines. No, nothing. Now, if the water was as high as they were saying, 4 foot, where you had to have a boat to get in there, this bag would have been underwater. The backpack would have been underwater. They would have had lines on them. They didn't. they had no receding where water recedes and the lineage goes down thing. There was nothing. This was a perfectly clean white bag and backpack. No, what the hell? No.
DJ put, it's the same thing that happened with Hitler. His body was burned up on order and only identified him through dental records. The theory of Hitler escaping to Argentina could have been true. Also, Saddam Hussein, did anybody ever see him get killed?
There's no proof of that.
Did we see anybody kill him?
I heard he's living in the United States.
Nobody's seen Saddam Hussein ever get killed. We apparently killed him and thrown him off the boat.
Yeah.
He was friends with George Bush and George Bush Sr. They were really good friends. But we're off the subject, so let's go back to the subject.
Yeah.
That's another story for another day.
Yeah. That's a good one, too.
Here's another thing. Me and Mom talked about this. So, when you commit suicide, like Brian supposedly committed suicide, when you do that, you'll use your dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, you're going to shoot with your right hand.
Exactly.
If you're left-handed, you're going to shoot with your left hand.
I have arthritis. I'm probably going to use both.
By the way that the FBI put in the story, he shot with his left hand, was not his dominant hand. And this is why I think he's dead. Now, because I think his father killed him.
He does. Danny has said that all along.
His dad shot him on the left side, and his dad killed him because Brian didn't have the balls to do it himself.
And Danny has said that all along, and I've said all along.
And there's a potential.
That man is walking.
There's potential that it's in Florida. There's gators. They could have ate his body, and there'd be pieces of him left there. Now, can he be alive? Yes, 100% he could be alive because there's stories that put him alive. Could he be dead? Yes, because there's stories that could make him dead. But I don't think if he killed himself, I don't think he did it. I think his dad did. Because you don't shoot yourself with your non-dominant hand. You shoot yourself with your dominant hand. And he shot himself on the left side, not the right side, by the FBI records.
Yes. Myself, when they came up with the partial remains, I understand about alligators, but I'm sorry. There would have been more than a jawline and a skull, a piece of a skull. I think there would have been more. I'm sorry.
I can't fix it now. The internet's just going to have to be messed up. Can you guys hear us? Let me know. We won't say anything else till we put a 1 in the chat if you can hear us. DJ said it's good.
What are you guys' theories? What do you think possibly could have happened? Do you think Brian's walking around?
Most of them all think Brian's alive. Yeah, everybody's saying it's good. Okay.
Now, I do remember, and this is a video. There's a video out there. You guys would have to go research it. And the black lady, the lady in the black dress. When Brian was supposedly found dead, he was walking around his parents' house in a black dress.
Yeah, I heard that too. But
and I watched the video.
There's so many theories about that are weird.
So there's just too many things that
I'm gonna say her name wrong again, but Audrey. What was it? Aubrey. I'll remember it eventually. Aud. Audrey. Okay, I'll remember it eventually. Audrey.
I keep wanting to call you Aubrey because that's my son's stepchild, and her name is Aubrey.
Audrey, how are you doing today? She said hello.
Hi.
TJ put, I think Brian is definitely alive and living in a place with no extradition laws like Venezuela.
Where he can
Venezuela, that's
where he can be brought back. I agree.
Yeah, there's a like, I'm not saying I'm saying if he's dead, his dad did it.
They dropped this case just too fast. It drug out for a long time, you know, because they were looking for Brian and everything else, and then all of a sudden they said, "Whoop! We found him. He's dead."
She said, "My dad calls."
Drop it.
She said, "My dad calls me Aubrey." So if I say it wrong, she won't get mad. Okay, that's good. I think he's alive. Desiree put, "I think he's alive because his parents sent stuff out of state." Yes.
And you know they're still doing it.
They're still to this day sending stuff out of state.
And I think what they're packaging up is money. And they're sending it to him wherever he is. Boxed up money.
Audrey put, "I think he's alive." So almost everybody thinks he's alive. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard his parents had connections in high places. Do you know if that? Yes, it's true.
Yes, it is very
100% true. Like they are.
They had cops and
one of the
lawyers.
They have one of the cops on the case is one of his dad's friends. And
now, didn't the mom?
There's also the lawyer.
Didn't the mom sleep with the lawyer?
I didn't hear that, but it's a possibility. The lawyer, who is a dumbass, that lawyer.
Because the dad don't like the lawyer.
But they used the lawyer, so they don't. I don't know if that happened.
I think it did.
The dad would have got a different lawyer. I don't think that happened. The dad would have got there would have been a different lawyer.
The story's out there.
There would have been a different lawyer.
The story's out there.
If I thought my freaking husband was sleeping with the lawyer, I wouldn't buy that lawyer. That doesn't make any sense. You would get a different lawyer.
The story's out there.
So he lived underneath the freaking plant thing outside in the yard.
Yeah, the story's out there. Sure is.
I don't think you wouldn't pay for a lawyer if you thought he was sleeping with your wife. Nobody would do that. And that lawyer was a fucking idiot anyway. Like he
still is.
He's a moron.
He still is.
He's the lawyer they're still using to fight the Petitos now.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that man. He just to me doesn't have any smarts upstairs.
I don't think they'll ever open the packages, Audrey, because they say he's dead. So if the cops open the packages, they would have to reopen the case, and they don't want to reopen the case because the FBI and the cops screwed up so bad on this case that they just want to cover it up.
That's why it got dropped.
Because they say he left. They didn't know he left. They thought when he left, that was his mom that was leaving. They had cameras on the house
and
the whole time and said that it was the mom that left. And then when the mom come back with a hat on, which means the mom covered up that he left, that they thought that was Brian going back in when it was the mom. Like, they messed up so bad on this that the story's crazy. Like, there's so much of this story that you just don't, I don't get.
It's a complete cover-up to let Brian
What's up, James?
live. Brian's living. I will always believe that man's still walking the earth. I'm sorry, I just believe he is.
Well, I think his dad killed him, but that's just my opinion. But either way, we're never gonna know. Yep, exactly, Audrey. It's another murder that we're never going to know.
Well, you know, there was a girl from YouTube. And she has a video out there where she had went out to this spot where Brian was found, and she found Gabby's glass.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
She found it and took it to the police station.
And they didn't even want it.
They didn't want it at first. She made them take it. Now, if they were looking for evidence when they supposedly found Brian, why didn't they take all the evidence? It was laying on top of the ground.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious it was hers because there's pictures of that cup.
And they were only made of a certain year.
Inside the van when they were traveling, there's pictures of that cup inside that van, and they didn't even they didn't see that in plain sight,
laying on top of the ground. This girl and her mom seen it right away, and they put a video out on it. And they put a video when they took it to the sheriff's department, and they said at first they didn't want it. And they said, we're leaving this here with you as evidence, so let's fill out the paper, because you got to get a paper that says that you gave evidence, so you're not keeping it away from them. The girl wouldn't leave without that piece of paper saying that she gave them the evidence. Because she didn't want to be accused of anything. That's crazy crap when they want to deny evidence. And there was another thing I wanted to bring up to you guys, which is really odd to me, but they never talked about finding, that I know of, finding Brian's clothes. His shirt, his shoes, his underwear, his shorts, pants, whatever he was wearing.
I think they did find some clothes, but they never checked them for DNA to see if they were actually Brian's. There was some clothes found, but I don't think they ever checked them for DNA. And if there's clothes found, it makes you think, because if it was an alligator that got it, if you found the clothes,
alligator.
But even if you'd still probably find the clothes. But what I'm saying, if the alligator bit him and the clothes were there, pieces of him would still be in the clothes.
It'd be there. They only found a jaw and a skull.
See, I think there's more to the story than you're remembering, because the last FBI thing that came out said there was a torso and a part of a foot and his teeth and a jawbone. Like, the final report says there's a lot more than what the original report said.
I'll have to go check that out then. Because
that don't mean it's him.
I'm the first to say I make mistakes.
That doesn't mean it's him. Like, you can go dig up a recent body and put it in there if you have to.
I'll be right back, guys. I gotta check on Cola. He doesn't like to be alone too long without mommy.
Audrey, the reason I think I don't know if the father did it, but the reason I think if the father would have done it, is because apparently by the FBI report, they say Brian shot himself on the left side, and most people shoot themselves on their dominant side. Brian was right-handed, so you'd shoot on your right side. That's almost 98% of suicides. People shoot with their dominant hand. And he shot, apparently, by the FBI report, shot himself on the left side, which would mean he probably didn't do it. I think his father did it, and because Brian was too big of a pussy to do it. But he could still be alive. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying I don't think he is, but he could be, and I wouldn't be shocked if he was. Audrey put, I think the FBI wants to be out of spotlight and helped plant the remains while letting his parents get him out of the U.S. That's definitely a possibility, Audrey. I think it all was covered up to protect Brian. I don't know why they would protect Brian, though. That doesn't make any sense, but it's a possibility. I think the FBI screwed up and covered it up. It's possible, more possible than trying to make it cover up for Brian. The FBI screwed up a lot in this case. Audrey put, they found more than a skull. Yeah, see, that's what I thought. Like, the final report, there was more than just a skull found in the final report. Audrey, because Brian didn't have the balls to do it himself. Yeah, I'm just giving you guys my theories. I 100% could be wrong, but if we're going to talk the story, we got to give all the theories. They found other murder victims' remains out there too. I think they found, during this case, they found 6 other people during this case. And 2 of those people were lesbian couple. I can't remember one of the girls' names was Crystal, and there was another girl that was her girlfriend, and they just got recently married, like just recently. And there's a theory that Brian might have killed these girls because some keys were found within a pretty close distance of where these girls were murdered, and those keys belonged to Brian. It's just a theory that's been put out there that Brian might have caused their deaths also. Because it happened right around the time that Brian was in, where Gabby and Brian got arrested or got pulled over that day and did all that shit. Well, and then they split them up for the night. These two girls were killed around that same time. I can't remember the other girl's name, but it's Crystal and some other girl. I don't think they found the gun, and if they did, I might have missed that part. I don't think there was ever a gun recovered, but I'd have to go back and read the report again, because there's like 6 FBI reports on this case. So I'd have to go back and read the reports, because I don't think there was ever a gun found.
With Brian?
Yeah.
The FBI said they got the gun.
Oh, well, Mom said they did find a gun.
But do I believe they found a gun? Hell no. If everything else washed away, why wouldn't that gun? But then, the bags were there, you guys.
Audrey put, has it come out why he may have... why he may have killed Gabby? See, there's a notebook, and in this notebook, apparently Brian put that he killed Gabby, which that has come out. But apparently there's some more stuff in the notebook that hasn't come out. So that's part of the reason why the Petito family is suing the Laundry family to get access to that notebook, because it's still in record because now they're fighting over it.
They want to know what happened to their daughter.
Once this goes to court, and I think the court date's in 2023, so months from now, when this court date's supposed to take place. So eventually we might find out what Brian put in the notebook, or we may never know what Brian... Like, if the Petito family wins, they're going to put the information out. If the Laundry family wins, we'll never know what's in the notebook. We'll never know why Brian did what he did, or if he even put why he did what he did in the notebook.
And was it really his writing?
It was. It was his writing.
I don't understand if that bag was underwater. I don't get it.
It was in a dry bag.
The dry bag had a hole in it.
And yeah, but still, it depending on how the book was sitting, there was other stuff in there. If the water was only 8 inches...
But they were saying it was 4 foot. You had to have a boat to get in there.
They're fucking morons. I seen pictures of the place. It was 8 inches at the most. That book could still be dry in a dry bag.
No, they said that's why they couldn't read it at first, because it was wet and they had to do special preservatives to dry it out.
They've also made 8 FBI reports on this, and all of them have been different.
That's true too. That's true too. But I did hear they found a gun. The FBI had a gun. Now, whether that's true or not, you guys' guess is as good as mine, because I don't think he's dead. I just don't. Because his family also sold a lot of property. They needed money real fast all of a sudden. Who'd that money go to? Yeah. Why'd they need money?
They sold like 4 houses in like a very short period of time. Mm-hmm. And they hadn't sold 4 houses in a short period of time in forever.
Right. They were hanging on to all their property, but all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Where's that money and why
do they need it? We're talking Florida homes. So, $600,000-$700,000 homes that they sold just boom, 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 boom. Right when Brian supposedly died.
Mm-hmm.
which could or could not have happened. But Audrey put, so it has come out that he did do it, but hasn't said why. Thank you for the update. I didn't know that the notebook had influence. Yes, it did come out that he did it. He did write it in the notebook that he did it, and they did prove that it's Brian's handwriting that drew in the notebook. But there's also supposedly more stuff in the notebook, and they won't tell us what's in it. So that's why the Petito family is suing the Laundrie family to get access to the notebook.
Yes. And money.
And money, yeah. Because there's two cases.
Wrongful death.
There's two cases. There's one case for the notebook, and then
Wrongful
the father
death.
and both the father and the mother, because they're married, they're not married anymore, sued them for wrongful death. Mm-hmm. So there's two cases.
There's actually three.
No, there's not. There's two.
Isn't the mother and the father are both suing
for the same case, the same lawyer
they
and everything.
Together, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got
They all live in the same house. Like
that's weird.
Both families, the mothers, both families of her mom and dad and her stepmom and dad all live in the same house.
That's kind of a weird situation, but I guess if it works, it works.
Yeah.
So, mom and dad can both still have the kids.
Yeah.
So, if it works, it
like
works.
They might not now because they did that for Gabby. So they might not anymore. They might not be living in the same house anymore, but they're all real close. You can tell when they're doing interviews and stuff that they're all real
they're
close.
Extremely close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Audrey put, wow, goes to show how bad the FBI really is at catching real criminals. Yeah, our FBI sucks. Literally, we should fire them all.
Shame on them.
And redo our FBI, our government, and anything that has to do with our government. Everybody should be fired, and we should do it over. So if the remains had been shot in the left side, then it could have been the only body they knew of that was a suicide to plant.
You know, that could be true.
I didn't think about that, but that's a possibility. Like maybe they didn't have a right side person and they planted a left side suicide victim out there. That's a possibility. I never thought of it. That is a good possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even gonna try. EXQUISITE.
Exquisite.
Exquisite. Is it exquisite? Exquisite? Maybe. I don't know. Well, anyways, they put, I feel like regular people from the internet can solve crimes better than the police or FBI. 100%.
Absolutely.
Because us people will dig into it until we get our answers.
I dig until I can't find
until there's nothing
anymore.
left. Until there's nothing left to find.
And I'm straight up telling you, my honest, true feelings are Brian is walking around free as a bird. Free as a bird. That man is not dead.
Well,
I just don't believe it.
Either way.
Absolutely don't believe it.
Either way, dead or not dead, he's going to pay the piper.
And Bob Saget was murdered. That's what we're going on tonight. Bob was murdered, and Brian's walking around free as a bird. And maybe that's why the Petitos want that book. Maybe it has something in there about where he would travel to overseas or whatever.
Well, the Laundries,
never know.
The Laundries don't want him to have the book, but
not
the
at all.
Petitos are trying to get it.
Yeah. But see, right now the FBI has it and nobody's getting it.
Well, that's why they're fighting in court.
Because it's in court.
Like, they were about to give it to the Laundrie family, but the Petitos put a case against them, so now
they blocked that.
It's stuck until the court case, which is, I think, like in the middle of 2023. So we got a long ass time before we find out
anything
when that happens.
and if the Petitos get it or not.
Yeah.
So
Desiree put, I think the Laundries are going to keep Gabby's parents from getting the notebook because they know they will be guilty and so will Brian.
they are guilty.
The thing is, I would say that the Laundries would have a better, like, if the Laundries were just suing Gabby's mother, they would have a chance to beat the mother in court because the Laundries have more money than the mother. But being the father's involved, and the father, Gabby's father, is super rich, like super rich.
Mm-hmm.
He could get a pretty damn good lawyer, and he's got more money than the Laundries have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a who's got more money in the end.
And I really believe that people are so nosy that they would donate to get that too.
Yeah, so it's
because we all want to know what truly is in that book.
It's going to come down to who has the most money and who has the better lawyer.
And I think as human beings,
the Laundries are using their same stupid lawyer. So
yes,
the guy that was
they need a new one.
Yeah, he's an idiot. Audrey put, who's Bob? Bob Saget. We talked about him at the beginning of the video. Mm-hmm. So you have to go back. Bob Saget was one of the characters from Full House.
He was the dad.
Yeah, he played the dad in Full House.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I think a lot of them Full House people, they know in their hearts the characters, you know, but the people in real life, they know something's up with this. They just aren't saying anything.
Audrey put, I hope the Petitos win. Crystal put, I think an accident will happen to the book before they get it.
You know, if that happens, that would be
then
sad.
The Petitos can sue the FBI.
Yes.
So that would not be good for them. Then it'll become a big ass case.
Yes.
And I think
that would go to Washington.
I think the Petitos will sue the FBI if it comes down to that.
Yeah. I think so too.
Because he has money. Like her father is mega rich.
Yeah.
Like he's a rich man. Like
he can afford it.
Yeah. Go look into her real father's lifestyle. He's a rich ass man.
Yes. And you know what? They're saying that both of them are passed away. So let that crap out.
Yeah, put the information out. They're dead. It's over. Know? Show the damn notebook.
Something in that notebook.
There's something
don't want nobody to see.
Yeah, there's something they're hiding, and the Petitos know it. That's why they stopped it before it got brought back to them.
And could it be where Brian is?
Or could it be that Brian killed other people? Because 6 people were found during the time that they were looking for Gabby. 6 different people were found during the time they were looking for Gabby.
In the same area where he was.
By the time it was over, they found Gabby and 6 other people. So 7 people were found in the area where Brian was always at.
Not saying Brian did it. But would it say it in the book?
Did he try it on somebody else to see if he could do it to Gabby? Like, what's in the book? We don't know. I'm just throwing some shit out there. I don't know. I'm not saying that he did kill anybody.
Right.
But we don't know.
Could it also say where he is, you guys?
It could, possibly.
And the Laundries don't want anybody to know. Could it say where, that he might be with his grandfather? Because his grandfather is still living.
Audrey put, that would make him a serial killer. I honestly don't think he killed anybody but Gabby. But there's a lot of things that click with some of these other people that died. And he was there in that area when it happened. So we'll probably never know.
It could be a big coincidence, but it's a big coincidence. that he just happened to be in that area. That's not saying he did it, you know. But, or could it be, I'm like Danny, could there be other confessions in there of things he's done? Maybe somebody that he abused. Maybe Gabby was pregnant. Maybe.
No, Gabby wasn't pregnant. They did an autopsy.
Well, I know they did, but maybe now, he thought she was pregnant.
That's a possibility that she said, I'm pregnant, and he snapped.
That could have happened. Maybe he had told her, I'm leaving you because I don't want to get married. Because Gabby wanted to get married and he didn't. And that was stressed a lot in a lot of different conversations that were on the internet. Gabby wanted to get married to Brian.
See, I agree with you, Audrey. My mom doesn't think that he killed somebody else, but I do. And I've always told her that I think he did. She put, Watson put, maybe he's a serial killer, which is a possibility. And then Audrey put, people don't usually just randomly kill one person.
You know, I've heard that said before. But some people do because maybe it scares them. Maybe it puts a pride into them that, oh my gosh, look what I did. How could I do that?
I don't know. Like, Mom says that there was another girl. I'd never heard that ever. So I'll have to look into it because, like, there's so many things. This case is like Summer's case. So much shit happened. It was hard to keep up with everything that was happening. But Desiree
Brian was secretly seeing another girl.
Yeah, I never heard that. And I looked at some of the big people that were following this case, and they never even said that. So that would be, I think, a big-ass story. But just in case it did, Desiree put, I think she found out he was cheating on her, and she confronted him, and he snapped.
Thank you, Desiree.
I don't think that's what happened. I think she said she was pregnant, and he snapped and killed her because he didn't want a kid.
Well, Brian was seeing another girl.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all.
She caught him. She had seen messages even on his phone and everything else.
I just don't, I don't believe that.
Well, you're going to have to check it out because it's out there.
It's not, but I'll look.
Oh. Okay. Okay, let's agree to disagree.
I would believe he snapped and killed her. Just killed her if he had a mental health. He didn't have no mental health issues as far as they've said. Like, he could have, but I don't remember there ever being a mental health thing.
I
think Gabby had.
I remember them saying something about Gabby.
Yeah, Gabby had some kind of mental problem.
Had something going on to where she took medication.
Yeah, but Brian didn't.
Not sure about Brian.
I don't think Brian had any mental problems, but Gabby had something
that she was taking medication
for. Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember exactly what it was.
Then I doubt it was just her.
So you're suggesting that you think it was more than just Gabby that got killed by Brian too?
Yeah, I think that. I think he killed somebody else to see if he could do it because he already planned on killing Gabby.
Because he wanted out of the relationship because he was seeing another girl.
I never heard that one single time, and I was looking into this case just as much as you. Never seen that. You never even told me that till today.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
This is the first time I ever heard it.
Oh, I've told you.
No, you didn't.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
First time I heard it was today.
It's out there. It's definitely out there.
I've never seen it, so it's probably not out there.
Okay, I can appreciate you. Just go look it up.
And then when I prove you wrong, are you going to say sorry?
No, because it's out
If
there.
I prove you wrong, you're going to say you're sorry. Like, if I could not find it anywhere on the web,
Danny,
you're going to say you're sorry.
I'm telling you.
If I can't find it...
He was cheating on her.
If I can't find it, you're wrong, and you'll say you're sorry. If I find it, then I'll say I was wrong and I'm sorry. But if I can't find it, you're wrong.
It doesn't mean that somebody didn't take it down, but I'm telling you, he was cheating on her.
Well, I'm right. I'm right.
And that's why
that's
she
all that
wanted
matters.
to get... That's why she wanted to get married so bad.
Yeah, I never heard that at all.
Well, anybody else hear that story?
It says, or I think she was like, I want to get married, and he snapped and killed her. There was a lot of bad blood that happened after whatever happened with the cops that, like, what? It was like 5 days before she got killed, wasn't it? Or was it 4?
I was thinking...
It was like 4 or 5 days later.
Something like that, yeah. It wasn't a very long span of time.
So Gabby did something, because the cops even say Gabby was the aggressor.
Yes.
On a day that they...
I think she slapped him and scratched him in the face, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there was a scratch.
And
they were going to put her in jail.
Yes.
But Brian stopped it, and then they decided to separate them for the night.
So one had to stay in the van and one had to stay
Brian
in a
stayed
motel.
in a motel, and Gabby stayed in the van that night.
Yeah. Because Gabby did, and Gabby admitted that she hit him and scratched him. Gabby admitted she did it. She said they had gotten to an argument, and she hit him and scratched him.
Now, Audrey agrees with you that he's still alive, but this is her theory. It says, I think he has killed before. I think he messed up when he killed Gabby and knew that the walls were going to close in on him, which made him kill anyone in his way to get out of the USA. See, I think what happened, and this is just a theory.
Now, see, you could be right.
I think he killed somebody and Gabby seen it.
Oh.
And then...
yeah, we had talked about that.
And then freaking... So he had to kill her too because...
She knew it.
She knew it and seen that...
He was guilty.
He was guilty, yeah. Crystal put, I heard that he was abusive. And then Audrey put, the news did say Brian was controlling. Yes, very controlling.
Yes. Yes. He wanted his way. He wanted to control all the money. He didn't want, even though it was Gabby's money, he controlled it.
Yeah, Brian didn't have any money. Gabby had money.
So when Gabby wanted something, she had to ask Brian for her own money. For her own credit cards, for anything. She had to ask him for her own stuff. Yeah, he was controlling. Absolutely.
Very controlling.
Yes.
And she put, that could be it, that Gabby accidentally seen something she shouldn't have.
You know, Danny had mentioned that to me quite a few times when we have went over this case, and we would talk to each other because he watched different things than I did.
When she was covering this case when I was covering Summer's case. These cases happened kind of close together.
Yes.
So I was more into Summer Wells' case, and Mom was more into Gabby and Brian's case. Mm-hmm. But we were following both stories.
Danny would tell me, Mom, I've seen this pop up today, go check it out and tell me about it later. And then if I seen something that would pop up on Summers, I would tell him, Danny, this popped up today. And he'd say, well, Mom, I'll check it out and I'll tell you about it. We'll talk about it later. So we shared information. But we still have disagreements. I mean...
Watson, what's BS? You said something's BS.
You don't think he's alive. If you don't think he's alive, I'm cool with that.
I don't think we haven't talked about that, so that can't be what they're talking about. It has to be something we just recently talked about. Huh? We haven't talked about that. Wonder if Gabby's
Or
father...
you don't think that he could be a mass murderer?
Wonder if Gabby's father knew that. Gabby's father knew what?
That Brian was abusive and controlling and,
the family
and had the money all the time, if that's what you're asking.
Gabby's,
I don't think they found it out till later.
Yeah, they didn't find it out until after she died.
Yeah, because he was using her credit cards.
If the FBI was worth anything, they would look into missing/murdered women in his prior path of travels. It could be in that notebook that his parents don't want anybody to see.
It could be. See, I think the notebook tells a lot. I think the notebook will tell where he is. And if he did do anything else or had committed any other crimes or robberies or anything like that, it's probably in that book, because I do remember his mom saying in an interview that him and Gabby wrote down everything. When they went on these trips, they both kept notebooks and wrote down everything. Where's Gabby's notebooks, you guys? Because Gabby did her YouTube. So she
had just started YouTube. For this trip.
Yeah, but she had thousands of fans and people out there. Where's her notebooks where she was writing down about their trip and what was going on and what they had seen and where they went to eat, or what museum they went to, or which ocean front they were on? Where's her notes, you guys? Nobody's ever talked about it.
Watson put, Gabby had to ask permission to use her own money. That's what he's saying. What they're saying BS to.
Oh yes, she did.
See, I don't remember hearing that either. But I do remember him.
Brian controlled the money,
controlling of it, and when he did go back to Florida, he had her credit card in his pocket. Mm-hmm. But we weren't there, so we don't know if he was telling her she couldn't have her own money. Nobody was there, so we don't know that for sure. But it seems like
there was a lady in a restaurant in Tennessee, was it?
I don't remember.
I can't remember the exact state. I think it was in Tennessee. And Brian and Gabby had stopped in there to eat.
No, that was at the place they got arrested at. They stopped and ate that night. That was that earlier that happened.
Well, okay. Well, anyways, they got into an argument over food money at the table. Because that's what the girl was talking about. She videotaped it. And then all of a sudden, everybody's video disappeared.
Yeah.
The restaurants, outside where the motel was, everything, boom.
Like
went black.
There was a person that had like a clip of them outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that clip, and I put that post up on my YouTube channel, and that post disappeared.
Yep.
On my YouTube.
Yep.
Of them outside after the argument at the restaurant.
Yeah, over money.
YouTube took that post down, like literally took it off my video off YouTube.
Yep. Sure did. The restaurant.
Like their
tape is black.
You can't find anything on that restaurant anymore, and there was a video.
Mm-hmm. There was a video of the whole fight, the manager getting involved.
It wasn't the whole fight. It was just them outside of the building after it happened.
No, the girl took the video of them fighting on the inside.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But it all got taken down. They blacked it all and said no way. They wasn't going to let any of that information out. And they covered it up really good.
Audrey put, I think that notebook is a full confession like a lot of people do before death to make it look more like he died. And then Watson put, if I gave my child money and some dude's boyfriend was preventing her from using the money I gave her, I'd be checking that dude real quick in his face.
But you're not going to know because you're not with them.
They were on this long trip away from the parents. Yes. And Gabby wasn't living with her parents. She was living with Brian's parents. So her parents didn't even know most of the stuff that was going on.
They had no clue.
Because Gabby was living with Brian's parents, not with her parents.
Right. And when they left out on the trip, there's a video about when they were getting ready and the neighbors were watching them get the band ready and everything when they were getting ready to leave out for this trip that they were going on. No, so the parents, you wouldn't know. If your child doesn't call you and tell you, you won't know.
I agree, though. Once I found out, I would check him with my fist.
I can understand doing that, but Gabby kept it to herself because you guys got to understand, she loved Brian.
Yeah, but she also hated Brian, too, because she caused some of the fights.
She did, but she wanted to marry him, and he did not want to get married.
That's what we think. There's nothing that shows that he didn't want to get married, and there's nothing showing that she didn't want to get married. It's just a theory that everybody's going on because we can't ask them ourselves. It's still a theory, no matter how you look at it.
It's a theory.
People who are controlled and abused don't always tell. Exactly.
You're exactly right.
Some people are too scared to tell.
Mm-hmm. And it does make you kind of wonder, did Gabby see things that Brian had did?
And Brian noticed
and she was scared.
Yeah.
She was absolutely scared.
But we'll probably never know.
So,
sadly.
Yeah, we're probably never going to know the truth.
But.
So, yeah. It's,
I think we're going to call it there, guys, because I have to use the bathroom and clean my bowls and stuff. And so I'm going to call it a night. But we've almost got 2 hours into this.
In case the gentleman is on tonight, I haven't heard his name mentioned, but I will be checking out Ruby Ridge.
Okay. I don't think he's on. That's Hillbilly. He hasn't been
on tonight. I will be checking that out. I will be delving into it. If there's something that you guys really want me to delve into and see if I can find out anything, leave it in the comments and let me know.
Tomorrow, guys, for you people that are still here, tomorrow, me and Mom are going to do a video because we were supposed to do it tomorrow, but we kind of got screwed up because I didn't do the live Monday. Tomorrow, we're going to do crazy laws in your states.
Yes.
So go look up the crazy laws in your state, and tomorrow night
we're all going to share.
We're going to share crazy laws in our state tomorrow night on the live at let's say around the same time, 8 Central Time tomorrow. We're going to talk about crazy laws in your states. So definitely go look that up so if you come in tomorrow, that you'll be ready to talk about crazy laws. I'm going to have to that's what I'm going to look into once I get done here. So
yeah, I need to look
that's going to be tomorrow's video, guys.
Because there's really some dumb ones here in Missouri. I remember one, you couldn't have a donkey out on the streets and just all kinds of stuff, So, but the guy who had mentioned, or the lady, I don't remember.
Okay, I'll go check it once I get off here, Desiree.
But you can't put an ice cream in your pocket.
Yeah, I think that was Desiree that said that.
But that just threw me. I just laughed so much over that last night. I'm like,
yeah, we're going to talk about
just stupid.
So come. Make sure you guys are here tomorrow, and we're going to talk about dumb laws in our states. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I gotta poop.
Okay.